We have 3,000, 4,000 people for whom, if we had to reshoot that means then we are gone. Our industry in Tamil and the Telugu have also gone through the worst of times in the past 1 decade.
Hello, I am Suzhal from Filmfare, and today I have with me the dynamic director-writer duo of Pushkar-Gayatri, who will be talking to us about the season 2 of Suzhal. Hello, welcome to Filmfare. How are you?
Very good.
The release is just a week away.
Yeah.
Excited, nervous, especially after the immense success of the first season.
Excited more than nervous,
actually,
I
yeah.
guess. It's hey, we have done everything we can, so no, it's
It's up for grabs.
Up for the audience too.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode and I got really curious about the Ashtakaali festival, and I googled it, and it said that it's not a real festival in a Tamil culture but something that you have used for the narrative device. So tell me the thought process behind it. Why a fictitious festival?
It's not fictitious as such. So every micro festival has a bunch of mythology associated with it. Over a period of hundreds of years, they all morph and they change into something else. This festival idea came to us actually from a folk song, which is performed at a Dussehra festival. So the original antecedent of that festival is based on this idea. So those are the things which we are interested in. See, if you take a common festival like say Pongal or Diwali or any of Ugadi or any of those things, there is a large understanding on this is the only myth associated with it. But with the smaller festivals, there is it's given to interpretation.
So this thing, I mean, all these things have been like celebrated from pre-Vedic times. So like with each and every king who comes into power, and like with the changing landscape, those things. So a lot of it remains in oral culture. Like it's not really documented. So it's like it won't appear on your Google thing. But you need to do a lot of, because those Ashtakalis means 8 Kalis. So those temples are actually there in the town which it is set in. And so that myth is there, the locals will know. But it won't probably appear on your, with this name.
Yeah. So I think that's what makes the whole idea of the mythical metaphor interesting to us. Because anything which is open for interpretation, or which has multiple stories which are followed by smaller and smaller groups of people, gives you this texture that what is faith? I mean, people would go to Dussehra for various different cultural reasons, religious reasons, belief, faith and all that. I mean, that is super interesting. Where else in the world can that happen?
Right. The first season was also set against the backdrop of a festival. So like you said, the locals would know about it, but if I maybe won't get it on Google. So is this like also an attempt to bridge this gap, like bringing forward these aspects of our culture and tradition for not just an international audience, but also for the national audience? Because maybe someone sitting in Delhi wouldn't know about all the traditions of
Actually, you
Tamil
would be
Nadu.
surprised. Like even people in Chennai probably wouldn't know.
Achha.
So it is like a very, very micro festival. But it is attended by like lakhs of people. So I mean, that is the very most interesting part about India itself. I mean, within 50 kilometers, your language, your food, your whatever skin, your features, everything changes now. So you have so many of these things. So in some sort of a way, how we are looking at it is a very cultural, anthropological way of looking at these festivals.
We stay in Madras, so Mayanakolla is practiced in a place which is, I mean, like the big festival is in a place which is about 3.5 hours, 4 hours from Madras. But even within Madras, in a place which is like some 5 kilometers from us, there is a small temple which follows this Mayanakolla festival. And we didn't know about it, and we take great pride in knowing a lot about Madras.
We grew up there. I mean, we've probably seen those temples, but we didn't know about it. Only when we started researching those things, we knew about it.
So that I think every small iteration, variation within the belief system, gives you so much newer color, and that is fascinating.
What are the logistical challenges of like shooting a festival?
It is actually like creating or like hosting a festival. So actually, I think a lot of credit should go to our production team. I mean, our production team, because I think from first time it was like full chaos. Actually, first time was even like COVID was also happening. So like you have these, everybody has to be tested and like, coded and like they have to have. So in spite of all that, they kind of figured out ways to do with it. But it doesn't get easy. See, one thing is, so this festival happens in a seashore. So like it is a logistical nightmare. So and it's not just junior artists. We need to get a lot of folk musicians, folk performers, dancers, and actually there are these people. I don't know if they are here. I'm sure they're here also, who are actually professional. They go for these festivals and they perform. I mean, not artists. I'm saying.
I understand.
Yeah. So we had to get in touch with all of them and get a lot of locals. So it creates like a festive atmosphere that even people from surrounding villages, they come here. I mean, when we are shooting, they come with their kids all dressed up like a proper festival. So I mean, I was somebody like the director was saying cut and action and all that. Like somebody lost their husband. I mean, the husband went missing. So like, she wanted to announce that in the mic. So he had to immediately do that. So it was actually becoming like a proper festival.
I mean, it's spread over Mayanok, like the first one, we had it in a confined space, but it was about 4-5 acre large property, which we had to set up like the festival. This time it was closer to almost an 8 acre property, which we had to set up. So you divide the place into various segments and have to design what is the activity which is happening over there. Are there going to be shops over there, or is there going to be some entertainment over there, or is this a place where the figurine of the goddess is over there, where the puja as such happens? What is the entry? What is the exit? And on top of this, we have 3,000, 4,000 people for whom all the facilities need to be provided.
They need to be fed, costumes, all that.
And then made to act also.
Made to act also.
And we need to make this 3,000 look like 3 lakhs. So we'll have to keep moving the people around block by block. Okay, all of you now come this side. Then take everybody to this side. So yeah, it takes a lot of effort. It's like almost like an army working at that point.
Did you have to reshoot any of these festival scenes? Because that would have been another nightmare altogether.
No, we didn't have to reshoot it.
Luckily, you did not have to.
No, the thing is, there is a lot of planning which goes into every shot which needs to be taken based on the script. So those we will achieve. And if we had to reshoot that, means then we are gone.
Right.
Because that's the most expensive part of the whole process. Usually we do it towards the end of the schedule, towards the end of the whole shoot as such. So everybody is now in sync. Everybody knows what everybody's wavelength is. And then we get into this.
And before, like when we are writing and when we are doing the pre-prod, so we send our teams also to attend the real festival. So they get and so they get all the nitty-gritties right, how people are dressed, or like what are the activities. You need to give them activities, So the second season, they have one thing which is piche is actually begging or for alms. You don't do that, but you are dressed up as some like in some form, and people generally and you're supposed to live with just that. So basically, the idea is to teach people humility. That is the idea behind that exercise. So, yeah, so it is like a long process to stage the festival.
So, one interesting thing about the series is its pace and the suspense. Now, it's not only enough that you create it, but you have to maintain it throughout the season, throughout all the episodes, the multiple seasons. Can you share some insight into how you attain that? Because it's a very difficult thing to hold on to that suspense that you have created and audience's attention.
So that's why we take a lot of time in writing multiple drafts so that those points of so every screenplay is a mix of 2 elements, suspense and surprise. Suspense is where you build up to something, the audience is expecting something, and you deliver that. So that is suspense. When is it going to come? When is it going to come? When is it going to come? Here it is. That is suspense. Surprise is when is it going to come? When is it going to come? Hey, what is this? This is completely something else. So a mix of these 2 elements will have to be measured out. If everything is a surprise, you will turn off very soon.
You'll zone out.
You'll zone
no
out.
Connection.
Because then it feels like the story is going in some direction which you're completely unconnected from. So a mix of this, you play to the expectation, you break the expectation. Play to the expectation, break the expectation. This cadence we try to achieve over multiple
Hmm.
drafts. So if something feels like, hey, this is going too many twists is also not good enough, then
Right.
we'll reduce that, smoothen it out to the next main twist and stuff like that. The key is to keep working on multiple drafts before you can say, okay, this is ready for others to read. And usually it will be the two of us, and we have a few people whom we brainstorm with. Just within that group, we first try to fix it before it goes out.
And until it is completely finished to
Hmm.
our satisfaction, we don't kind of share it even with our ADs or like the directors or whoever. So like we can see their reaction full on,
Yeah.
as in if they are able to guess what's going to happen, then there is actually no point. So if we keep discussing that, they will know, okay, where these characters are, what is that. So they should also look at it like a fresher.
Yeah.
Then you know exactly, okay, if the mystery is working, if the suspense and surprise, that needs to land. So that we'll know when we kind of open it up finally to the others.
And also, I feel that like people have less attention span nowadays. So that's something
Absolutely.
that you have to factor while writing and rewriting.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
is-
see, there is a lot of competition for the mind space from
Hmm.
reels and the short form videos. And so you can't battle that. It's just that you'll have to bring them into another mind space. So if you have 10 minutes, in that 10 minutes, you're not going to be watching part of an episode. You'll be
Hmm.
scrolling through Insta or
Hmm.
Facebook. But say you have 45 minutes, then we want you to watch this. If you have a few hours, we want you to watch the series. Say you can take your family out, go to a theater. So I think we need to be aware that every medium is going to contribute to a certain viewing experience. And don't try to fight the other
Yeah,
medium
right.
on that. It's like, there is really no point in trying to fight with doom scrolling
Yeah.
on Insta.
So and apart from that, you just try to keep the writing as tight as possible, as in keep giving audiences something which there's a change in the story, or you get what you had predicted, that suspense is fulfilled, or that surprise suddenly bangs up. So you're kind of like invested in it. So and I mean, like I think every series, like you have that hook, no?
Huh.
So instead of just being like one fake hook, as in you just like pull a gun or like do something which is like just for the sake of it, you actually give a narrative hook. Then I think you feel like you have to come back to it. That compelling nature needs to happen.
The callback factor. So how difficult is it to do it for a film? I mean, is it easy compared to a series, or it's
So
equally
series
difficult?
writing is tougher.
Hmm.
Because there's a lot more actual writing which has to go in, just for the number of pages. And also in cinema, no, you have the big crutch of it being a spectacle. So even if it is an say a romantic scene, there is visual element and music and stuff like that which can accentuate that thing. That beat gets pulled on for 5 minutes, 7 minutes. If you try to do that in short form, where for 5-7 minutes you're talking about one thing, people will turn off. So you need to keep the audience engaged from a story level. While in cinema, it is more to do with the overall what you see on screen level. So that for us is our understanding on trying to write both at the same time. I mean, like we were writing this plus our feature script. So you learn from one which you translate to the other. Usually the problem happens when you have written it as a film and then try to make it into a series. No, then you
it
don't have enough
automatically
story.
drag out. I mean, you're just like trying to drag out
elongate
what is
something.
Yeah,
just for the
it'll
sake
be a
of
shot
it.
of
Need way
one guy
more.
walking all the way across the room. Like, dude, start here, cut, he is exited out of the door. That's all you need in series.
Editing has been figured out like a long time back, so just do that.
Tell me, when you're working on a script or any story, how often are you both on the same page, and does the male gaze clash with the female gaze?
Actually,
I don't think we have that difference of
Yeah,
male
yeah,
gaze, female
yeah.
gaze at all.
I mean, that is something we've been trying to consciously, or just we are just built that way or whatever. I don't even know which one is true. See, we kind of grow up together, like right from college and all that. So we look at the world a certain way, and like it's pretty similar. And we try not to do that male gaze, female gaze, because I think that also like you just keep separating. There is end of the day, we are individuals, we are people. You may be different, I may be different, he may be different. But let's not say men are different, women are different. That just keeps perpetuating certain ideas which are not healthy for.
Even if you're not doing it consciously, that, oh, I'm a woman, I'll think differently. But don't you think because of the experiences that people have growing up, women have a different way of looking at things than men? I'm not
So
saying
that
which
is-
is right, which is wrong.
No, no,
I'm
no,
just
there's
saying
no right
different.
or wrong.
No.
So we don't ascribe to that thought.
Hmm.
We think that is more a conditioning rather than
Right.
a reality. And that is something which we are consciously trying to break, so that it doesn't feel like there's these certain things is the way a woman would approach a situation, and these are the ways in which a man would approach a situation. So one common example which is you would see this a lot in social media. If there's a conflict, people say that the woman will try to de-escalate it while the man will try to escalate it. Like if it's an argument or anything, the woman will try to make peace, but the man will get into a bigger fight. This you will see in
Yeah.
thousands of reels which are there
That's a
on
common
Insta.
argument.
And it's
Huh,
not.
we don't believe in this.
Yeah.
Like it could be the other way. We would write a character where in this situation, the woman actually escalates the situation, or the man also escalates the situation. So the difference there shouldn't be whether it's a woman or a man. It should be on who is this character beyond the gender. That I think would eventually even out this idea that men are from Mars and women are from Venus,
Like,
or
thing
whatever is that.
Because if we are too stuck in that idea, like to the next generation, to our younger sisters or daughters, you keep reinforcing that same idea, no? So it is like somewhere deep down you think you are supposed to de-escalate the situation, or if you're a rebel, you're supposed to. So more than an individual, you're kind of, so those stereotypes just keep getting further and further. So we try not to do that.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. In the last couple of years, especially during the pandemic, a lot of South films, be it Pushpa, Baahubali, RRR, they have impressed the quote-unquote Hindi Bollywood audience. What's the one thing that you think as filmmakers, as writers, that Bollywood can learn from this success, something that maybe is missing in the industry, that is lacking, that they can learn from their counterparts?
I don't think there's anything to learn. See, what's happening is it's a cyclic thing. And our industry in Tamil and the Telugu have also gone through the worst of times in the past 1 decade itself. It's just a phase. I mean, like, I think all
earlier, lot of Hindi films used to work extremely well in Telugu and Tamil and Karnataka and all that.
Yeah.
So
it's just a question of that becoming back to normal. See, the key thing all of us have to try is to get the audience back in. So there was a recent report where it said Malayalam and Tamil cinema had faced close to 1,400, 1,500 crores of loss over the last year, which was a very good year for Malayalam because there were some super hits at that point of time. So what is happening is people are not coming into the theaters anywhere. When we are speaking to our producer friends, distributor friends in Andhra, Telangana also, right? The same thing is there. Like for the big films, big hits, there are people coming. But for the mid-level, smaller films, people are just not walking into the theaters. So we as an industry across the country need to figure out ways by which, how are we going to get people to come back to the theaters? And if you see, even the OTT platforms are talking about the same thing. How are we going to get people to watch the shows, the series, the movies which are there on platforms?
I think somewhere we need to get compelling content across board. I mean, so it is like we always, there is a word for this, some bias. So there's, like you just talk of those few things which work. But there are like some, to counter that, there'll be like some hundreds of examples which will not work.
Right.
Like see, those 2-3 films are from Telugu. So then Kannada had KGF. But after that, Kannada had a bunch of big films which were trying to do a pan-India thing with the dubbing. I mean, nobody even is aware of those things. So we forget that large thing. And then there are a lot of mid-level, small films which also kind of. So I think overall we need to try to make theatre more attractive. People come and watch or watch television and not just
and make the movie watching experience more accessible to common people.
Yeah.
So in Tamil Nadu, there's a regulation of ticket prices. So tickets can sell for a maximum of this amount, even at the best of the multiplexes and stuff like that. You would say that is the way to get more audience into the theatre. But that is also a 50-50 kind of thing only, because theatres also bleed because of capped pricing. So you need reasonable pricing, but you need the cost of making films also to be reasonable so that the collection can happen faster. So it's not something which a couple of people can figure out or content creators alone can figure out. I think as a whole, every stakeholder needs to come in and talk about it. And like there's a FICCI thing going on right now over this weekend. And these are the conversations which are happening over there. How do we make all these moving parts work
together?
And there's the bigger problem of piracy.
That
also
has
has to
always
be,
been there.
I mean, like now it is silly, man. As soon as a film releases, 3 hours later, there's a print out on the net, which is now HD quality and all that, like with good audio apparently.
Like you don't even need to step out and go to a shop and pick up the
Just
CD.
download it and watch it.
Yeah, so those are the battles which I think needs to be fought rather than what do industries learn from each other kind of
Right,
thing.
that's a very good point. Now, before I wrap up, what next from you?
We're working on a feature script. So it's finally cracked, and I think
Just
we'll be
about.
moving that forward. And we've got certain ideas for furthering this. So let's see
Right.
how it all
The
plays
third
out, and
season.
then we will take a call on that. But yeah, I mean, we should start on our feature film also very, very soon.
Okay. Thank you so much for this
Thank
wonderful
you. Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you
Thanks
so
a lot
much.
for joining Filmfare, and all the
Yes,
best for
please,
the second
please.
season of
Thanks,
Suraj.
thanks,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.